You're not failing to manifest because you're doing something wrong. You're failing to manifest because you're doing too much of what isn't required. And almost none of it is your fault. You've been taught to pursue your desires the same way you've been taught to pursue success, love, or safety through effort, repetition, and action. But the quantum doesn't work like that. The quantum doesn't respond to effort. It responds to coherence. And coherence is the exact opposite of forcing. The universe isn't listening to your effort. It's listening to your signal. And when your signal is scrambled by desperation, overthinking, control, or expectation, the field doesn't know what to collapse. Not because you're unworthy, not because you're blocked, but because the vibration you're emitting is one of chaos, not clarity. So here's the first truth no one told you. The quantum field is conscious, not in the way you're used to thinking. It doesn't judge, compare, or calculate. It reflects, it mirrors, it tunes itself to what you are, not what you ask for. And what you are isn't determined by your vision board or how many times you repeat your affirmation. It's determined by how still your energy is beneath the surface, by how much you trust what you can't yet see, by how much you are willing to feel like it's already yours. Without the proof, without the guarantee, without the outcome to hold on to. And that's where most people collapse, not their reality, their frequency. Because the moment doubt creeps in, the moment discomfort arises, the moment the timeline seems too quiet, they try to fix it. They double down. They push harder. They grasp at rituals, signs, and numbers, trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. They think if I do more, maybe the universe will notice me. Maybe the field will respond. But the quantum field doesn't respond to noise. It responds to resonance. And resonance isn't loud. It's stable. It's the invisible signal of alignment that says, I'm not waiting for it, I already am it. The shift happens not when you visualize perfectly, but when your body, breath, and field settle into the feeling that there is nothing left to chase. That's when your frequency becomes magnetic because it's not full of demand. It's full of presence. You might think, but I need to want it. Isn't desire the engine of creation? Yes and no. Desire is the spark, but need is interference. When you need something so badly that you cannot rest in its absence, your energy says it's not here. And the quantum conscious as it is tunes to exactly that. This is why so many manifestations stall at 99%. You feel it, you see it, you're so close you could touch it, but then nothing. Why? Because just before it collapses into form, your signal destabilizes, you fall out of coherence, you slip into doubt. And the field ever so precisely mirrors that shift. So the real secret is not to manifest harder. It's to become undisturbed, not numb, not passive, but energetically calm, trusting still. Because from that place, your frequency becomes readable, clean, clear. The field doesn't have to guess. It knows and it responds. This isn't something you push your way into. You surrender your way into it. And surrender isn't giving up. It's giving over. It's the art of stepping back from the version of you that's always grasping and stepping into the version of you that's already aligned, already magnetic, already home. So maybe the question isn't how do I manifest faster? Maybe it's what part of me is still trying to force what I could be relaxing into. Because if the quantum field is conscious, and it is, then it knows exactly what frequency you're operating from, and it isn't fooled by words. It isn't impressed by rituals. It only mirrors what you are. This is the real practice. Not to get louder, but to get clearer, not to try harder, but to trust. Deeper, not to manifest through control, but through coherence. You've tried to force the field before, we all have. But what if you didn't have to? What if the entire game changed the moment you stopped transmitting chaos and then started transmitting calm? That's what we'll explore next. Can I show you how? Let me show you what no one else is explaining. When you send out a desire from a space of chaos, urgency, or inner dissonance, the field doesn't respond to the content of your thought. It responds to the quality of your presence. And presence is not measured by how focused you are on the outcome. It's measured by how stable your frequency is without needing the outcome to appear. This is what no one told you. You don't manifest through attention. You manifest through regulation, not nervous system regulation. In the clinical sense, although that matters more, but vibrational regulation, internal steadiness, emotional coherence, energetic integrity, in simple terms. The quieter your energy becomes, the louder your signal gets. The field doesn't mirror your words. It mirrors your tone, not your voice tone, your frequency tone. And when that tone is heavy, shaky, or overcharged with longing, it doesn't say, I want this. It says, I don't trust it. And the quantum field, which operates on resonance, returns exactly what it receives. Think of it like this. If your vibration is an antenna, then every time you worry, second guess, or obsess over the how, you start switching stations. You're tuning away from the song you want to hear and into static, not because you're bad at manifesting, but because no one taught you that clarity comes from stillness, not strategy. So what does it mean to be still? It doesn't mean passive. It doesn't mean emotionless. It means your system is no longer leaking frequency. It means you're no longer chasing your desire with a vibration of lack. It means your signal has stopped sending mixed messages, and that's when the field gets the message clearly, cleanly, without contradiction. This is also why so many people feel exhausted by manifestation, because they're spending hours trying to emit the right thought, the right feeling, the right ritual, all while internally vibrating the opposite. They're saying, "I have it," while radiating, "I don't." They're declaring, "It's done," while emotionally signaling, "I hope this works." But the field is conscious, not like a mind, like a mirror, and it doesn't grant what you request. It collapses what you are. This is where quantum manifestation reveals itself. To be deeply honest, even spiritual, because you can't trick a conscious field. You can't bypass your own frequency. You can only become coherent with the version of reality you claim to want or not. So what does coherence actually feel like? It feels like calm anticipation. It feels like inner certainty that has no attachment to proof. It feels like acting, speaking, and moving from a place of already mine, not to convince yourself, but because that's the only thing that makes sense anymore. It feels like having so much trust in the invisible that you stop needing the visible to validate it. When you're in that state, you don't chase the outcome. You don't even try to hold the frequency. You become the frequency. And from that moment on, life doesn't shift because you willed it. It shifts because it no longer has a reason not to. The quantum field isn't holding your desires hostage. It's holding them in place, waiting for you to match them. Not in your words, in your energy, not in your logic, in your alignment, not in your timeline, in your stability. And here's the most misunderstood part of it all. Forcing doesn't just block the signal. It blocks your ability to receive. Because the moment you start controlling the how, you shrink the path of possibility. You take a limitless field and reduce it to your own narrow lens of how things should unfold. But the quantum doesn't follow your schedule. It follows your signal. And when that signal becomes silent, grounded, and unmistakably coherent, that's when things begin to accelerate, not because you demanded them to, but because the field has no other choice. You're no longer broadcasting possibility, you're broadcasting reality, so the invitation is simple. Not to do more, not to vibrate harder, but to tune deeper, to listen to your own frequency as closely as you expect the universe to, and to feel when you're emitting noise and choose instead to return to clarity. Because here's the secret. No one tells you. The field doesn't just hear what you say. It feels when you finally stopped waiting. And that's when it arrives, not as a reward, but as a match. Most people believe that manifestation is something that happens in the future, that it's the result of something they do now. But in the quantum field, there is no later. There is only now. And if your frequency is always tuned to soon, the field will mirror that endlessly. Because soon is not a timeline, it's a signal. And if you're vibrating almost there, then almost is exactly what will be reflected. So when does the manifestation actually arrive? Not when you convince yourself it will. Not when you say the perfect phrase or visualize in high definition. It arrives the moment your energy no longer argues with your vision. The moment you become a clear vessel for what you've been broadcasting. The moment the quantum field, conscious as it is, feels no resistance left in you. It happens in the absence of force. And it often sneaks in, not as a miracle descending from the sky, but as a timeline you almost didn't notice you had shifted into, because the version of you that receives what you've been asking for, they don't wait for confirmation. They live as the confirmation. This is where so many people get confused. They think letting go means giving up, but letting go doesn't mean releasing the desire. It means releasing the need. It means no longer gripping the outcome so tightly that your vibration becomes rigid, tense, and unreadable. It means trusting